Hey guys, Mr. Bowman here. Today's learning objective is in blue and we are learning to enlarge an object by a given scale factor to create an image. So let's change pen colors. I suppose the key words for today, the transformation we're looking at is enlargement. And that's all about changing the size of the object. And the scale factor, that's the second word. So we had enlarge, we had scale factor. So scale factor, that is basically tells us how much do we change it by, how much bigger or how much smaller do we change it by. So this tells us about how much change occurs in an enlargement. So we're going to get straight into an example, and we're going to start up on the blue kite or diamond shape up the top. And what we're going to do is we're going to pretend, well, we've been asked to increase that by a scale factor of 3. So what I normally do is I like to look for an obvious dimension. So if you look down the sides, I can't quite figure out how long that is. And same again on the other side, I don't quite know how long it is. So I look for an obvious dimension. But what I can see is the up and down part. Well, that's going to be 3 units long. And if you go from side to side, that there is 4 units long. And what the scale factor of 3 basically does is it times both of those numbers by 3. So let's change pen colors. Let's get into the light blue because we're doing a light blue shape. So here we're not so fussed on where the new kite or diamond sits. We just want to see how big it looks like. So the first step is, well, it is going to be 12 wide now. So let's have a look. 12 wide is quite wide. So let's see how much it's going to be. And it's also going to be 9 high. So we're going to start off, maybe here would be the center of our shape. And that means it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that point there, let's call that A. That's going to be A dash. And then we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. To create out the corner, that's going to be this corner here. That'll be B dash. And from the middle, it's 9 high, which means it's going to be 4.5 units each way. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 and a half. So if we call that C, that there would be C dash, and then the same down, 1, 2, 3, 4 and a half. That there would be D, and that there would be D dash. So we've created the corners of our shape. We now basically connect the dots to find the enlarged shape. So there's that side. There's its parallel side, and we go across the top here, and then we go down the bottom there as well. And what we can see is we've gone from our image to our object, and it's 3 times as big. It looks a lot bigger, but it's 3 times as big. We've got 9 up and down, and then we've got 12 left or right. So hopefully that makes sense. Enlargement, relatively straightforward. Let's get into an example of where we can use scale factor concepts to solve problems. So let's say this shape, or the shapes down the bottom, they're not necessarily to scale, but let's say it had a height, maybe it had the width there was 4, and that there was 2, and well, we're struggling to see the height because it's on a bit of a slant. So we could actually use this information to find out. So let's say we know that the height of this shape is 3.5 units long. What we do is we compare the 2 sides that are comparable. So this side here is the equivalent of this side up here, and we know that's 4 over 2, which means this diagram has a scale factor of 2. So that means this side coming down here, which we don't know, so we'll call that H, that is going to be 2 times the side on the smaller shape that we know as well. So that means h is going to be equal to 3.5 times 2, and that means h is going to be 7 whatever units. Let's maybe say it's centimeters, 7 units tall. So we've used scale factors to deduce certain relationships between the shape, and we can work backwards to find the scale factor, and then we can use that to solve problems as well. So a shorter video, hopefully you found it useful. Let's get into heaps of practice.